With strong focus on cloud computing and new partnerships, will Microsoft get a good recovery and should you buy? Keep watching as we answer that by going through recent news as well as my chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for regular stock market updates. First up, CEO Satya Nadella said in an interview that cloud computing will be the core of every business in the future, as cloud computing enables businesses to get more work done with fewer monetary and physical resources. It's important to note that Microsoft is the second biggest cloud services company in the world with a 21% market share, lacking behind Amazon Web Services, which has a 39% market share, while staying ahead of Google, which has a mere 7% share. This business generates about 36% of Microsoft's total revenue, and at the current growth rate, it'll soon contribute to about 50% of its total revenue. Next up, Cisco has partnered with Microsoft Teams with an aim to cash in on the new hybrid work models. This industry is expected to grow with a 17% CAGR until 2028, benefiting both Cisco and Microsoft. With all that in mind, let's analyze the chart. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the one-day chart from Microsoft, and as always, we'll first analyze the one-day chart, then the 1 hour chart, and to end it off, we'll get to the 5-minute chart. But right off the bat, we can clearly see that we've been in a bearish trend over here, right? So we can see that over here we peaked at around $294.46 and we made a low somewhere around over here at $219 pretty much. Over here we can see that we're now trying to reverse that trend, but the only resistance that would be some sort of a trouble is over here at $250. If we talk about the long-term trend, we can clearly see that of course it has been bearish for the longer period, but if we look at 2019, 2018, really in the past, then we can clearly see that we're obviously in a bull run, right? This was just a pullback after this inflation, right? Of course, stock markets go through inflation as well, right? This was pretty much an inflation, and now we can see that this is pretty much the deflation. But there is a pattern over here that is kind of worrying me a bit. So if you look over here around the June performance, we can clearly see that we made some similar moves, right? So we were in, let me get this brush tool real quick. We were in a bearish trend for a long term. And of course, we, tried to get a reversal over here from around the 243 to $40 range. And we did try to, beat this resistance over here at 278 pretty much, right? But we kind of failed. And of course, we did win over here and we did get resisted at this same point over here at 294 pretty much, right? So that led to a another bearish trend, an even worse bearish trend. But the real question is, are we in for another bearish run? Well, in my opinion, let's look at things with a bit more caution, right? Apart from this chart, we already know that the Fed is trying their best to control inflation, so of course they're going pretty wild with it in my opinion, and they're trying to do everything that they can without caring about the stock market or the housing market or businesses in general, right? Their only goal is to curb inflation. Of course, with that mentality, the stock along with the entire market is bound to suffer. Of course, we were in a gap up today. I already told you that we'll be in a gap up on Monday as well, and of course we were, and that has been true ever since. But if we talk about the range over here real quick, we can clearly see that we did try to make a reversal over here in the first place around, when was this? 12th October. So we made pretty much an indecision candle in the green. So this indicated a possibility of, a positive reversal. Of course, if we look over here on, the 6th October performance, we can clearly see that we had a pin bar candle on the bearish side, of course, over here. So that just indicated this bearish trend. And this could have been a great short opportunity. Even if you shorted over here, it could have led you to about 6% profit in about 3 days. A more common resistance is over here, of course, around $240, $242, right? So we can clearly see that we got impacted by that today. But under that, if we look at the support levels, we can see that we also have a support somewhere around here at 234.5, right? We've seen it acting up over here, here, and here as well, and over here as well pretty much. So my guess is that Microsoft will try their best to move completely into the cloud computing business because that's where the real money lies these days. And of course, if they can grow their market share, which they probably will, my guess is that the stock can get to a price of somewhere around $300 in like a year, right? So that still is a good growth. and it would indicate somewhat of a 25% growth in a year. Now, of course, we're being really modest here, accounting for all of the inflation factors as well as, upcoming market challenges. But with that being said, let's quickly move on into the 1 hour chart. So now that we're in the 1 hour chart, we can clearly see that over here, for example, around 4, 5, and 6 October, we can see that we were range bound in this area over here with a support at 244 and a resistance at 250.5, of course. Then we fell down in a gap down, right? This kind of was predicted, right? In my opinion, we can clearly see that the buyer's range were rather squeezing in over here. So if we look at this portion, for example, we can see that the seller candles, right, the bearish candles were rather, they had a big body, and of course over here as well, over here as well. But the buying candles, the bullish candles, were just kind of squeezed in. So that indicated a huge move to the downside. Of course, another thing that indicated huge downside was, when we got rejected over here multiple times, over here and over here. So that indicated that we'll probably fall down because that was like 3 or 4 tests. And if we did not, break that resistance in that many tests, we probably wouldn't in any more as well. So we can see that we had a support at 225 pretty much, 224, but we broke that in a gap down as well. Of course, we can see that we got a pin bar candle in the previous day over here, right? It's not exactly a pin bar candle, but that pretty much is. Well, so after that, of course, we can see that we got a gap down of about 2.6% over here, right? So of course, after that, we tried to, get past this resistance over here at 235, 236, right? Which we did. But after that, of course, we fell down. And now if we look at the current market scenario, we got a pretty good gap up on Monday, after which, of course, we were range bound for pretty much the entire day. And of course, we got two big selling candles over here, two big red candles, which indicate that, all of this hype is over, all of the gap up stuff, right? All of the recovery stuff, the pullback stuff, the breather stuff is over. And now I believe that we're headed straight for this support level over here, right? It probably won't be touched today, in my opinion, right? We'll probably get a pullback over here into this range and then probably close the day off in this range, right? I don't believe that we'll end this day off in, a green candle. Of course, we might end it in a positive note, in a positive percentage, right? You might gain this day, but it probably won't end in a red candle, or rather a green candle. I'm sorry for that. So with that being said, let's quickly jump into the 5-minute chart to discuss some important details. So now that we're in the 5-minute chart, we can clearly see some candlestick patterns over here. Of course, we did not get any candlestick patterns in the first few candles, but over here, we got some indecision and, pretty much a triple bottom over here around the 239.6 support, right? We got resisted around this range at 241, right? 241.4 pretty much. After that, we did take support around this range of 230. Well, what is this? 239 pretty much, I guess, right? And now we're getting a green candle. This pretty much is just a breather. We'll probably hit. Why did I do that? Let me undo it. Right, we'll probably just hit this resistance over here and keep going down. So we're probably in it for a bearish run up until mid-market, and after that we might see some recovery in the, aftermarket, or rather just before the market closes. So with that being said, my outlook on Microsoft remains pretty much bullish, looking at their current condition, products, and of course, their market share in cloud computing. In my opinion, cloud computing is probably the biggest IT thing in the market right now. But with that being said, remember that this definitely is not financial advice and you should always do your own research before you trade. If you enjoyed my analysis, however, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.